Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joseph Conlon here with the AEW Rampage review on Friday night, August 13th. It's Friday the 13th. It's Feel Good Friday here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. Folks, if you have not seen already, of course, you already know he's on the Dynamite reviews every single Wednesday night. You just saw him Wednesday night review Dynamite. We got Wesley Williams back here on the channel tonight. And also, making his debut, he got released from the NXT reviews, man, because the NXT is dead. There's no longer NXT reviews on the channel besides takeovers. He'll be here to talk about NXT TakeOver 36 with me next Sunday. But for now on, Friday nights, we'd like to welcome Cameron Johnson to the squad. Cam, how are you doing, sir? And what did you guys think of Rampage tonight, man? I mean, that hour just flew by fast. Cam, I want to start with you first. I want to see how you're doing. And what did you think about this first show of Rampage?
Oh man, I'm happy to be here Friday nights reviewing Rampage. I am now all elite. My non-compete clause expired expired a couple days early. You know what I mean? It was like Malachi Black, man. It was like Malachi Black. Malachi Black got released and nobody checked to see. Nobody remembered that Aleister Black was on a 30-day non-compete because he was still on his NXT deal. That is how little they cared about this man. 30 days later, the dude shows up on Dynamite, one of the hottest stars in the industry already. That's what happened to me, man. Vince McMahon released me. He didn't look at that non-compete. He didn't look at that non-compete. I thought it was next week, but no, my non-compete expired Thursday. But no, my non-compete expired Friday today at 3:00, and I said I gotta tell my boy Joseph so I can get on this Rampage review. But I'm happy to be here, man. AEW is the place to be. In terms of the debut episode of Rampage, that first hour just flew by. That first hour just flew by. One of the funnest hours I've had watching wrestling in a long, long time, and it is just crazy. I talked to you guys about it before we started recording, but it is absolutely crazy how AEW, in the span of 2 years, man, has managed to do all these things that we never thought would again happen in our lifetime. And I never thought in my lifetime there would be another wrestling promotion that could compete with WWE, that would be on TNT, and that would just be great. You have other great promotions out there, but I never thought there would be one like AEW. I never thought that would happen, but things change. AEW is the place to be in professional wrestling. This episode was great. Love the opening. This episode was great. Love the opening match, which we're going to talk about. Fuego del Sol, over as hell, lots of fun. And then the main event, pretty good match with an awesome return. So this was an incredible hour, man. I love this debut of Rampage.
Wow, that was the most fun hour of wrestling you've watched in a very long time. That is a bold statement, man. Very bold. Wes, I'm going to hand it over to you, man. What did you think about this? I think it was first off, I thought it was an awesome show. The hour flew by, like I said in the beginning, but Mr. Williams, what did you think about tonight's Rampage?
An absolute home run, man. You couldn't have asked for a better first episode of AEW Rampage tonight, man. I mean, it's just so sweet that we get AEW twice a week now, not only on Wednesday nights, but also on Friday nights, man. I mean, my Friday nights are filled now with AEW, and man, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be a happier AEW fan right now, man. This was an amazing first hour. The crowd was hot in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania tonight. Pittsburgh, you really brought it once again, man. You did. Not only did you bring it on Wednesday, you brought it tonight on Rampage on the television debut, and man, how great was it to see? And it's just so great to just to have AEW twice a week now, man. It's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, really quickly, I'm looking on Twitter. Jamie Hayter is all elite. It's official. Nice. So she's in AEW. We will talk about that. And before we start on tonight's show, next week's show, the First Dance, live in Chicago. They're hyping this show up to be the TV show of the year. I'm looking at the video package now. The largest crowd ever in the United Center. The most anticipated television show of the year, event of the year. Guys, I really can't believe it, man. We're a week away from Punk Night. We're a week away from the debut of fucking you. There you go. He's got the action figure right there with him. We are a week away from the debut of fucking CM Punk, where he is gonna change the tides of professional wrestling from AEW to WWE. And then on maybe the 22nd of September, Brian Danielson is going to complete that changing tide from AEW to WWE. It's crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy. Cam, what's your thoughts? What's your excitement level? Your anticipation going into the first stance? They also named it the only first stance. So this is basically AEW Rampage, CM Punk's debut. It's crazy, man. I want to hand it over to you, Cameron Johnson.
The largest crowd in the United Center, and that might very well be true since the Chicago Bulls over the past couple of seasons have been absolute trash. So this is the largest crowd in the United Center. So this is the largest crowd in the United Center. I, for one, cannot wait for CM Punk to come back. For those of you that don't know, I really started watching. I got into wrestling around 2008 around 2008, 2007, when Punk was coming up the ranks. He was world heavyweight champion and all that. But it was his run in 2011, 2012 that really made me fall in love. That really made me fall in love with wrestling. CM Punk has been one of my absolute all-time favorites for forever. When he left in 2014, I always felt like there was a void that was left on WWE. And I always felt like there was a void that was left on WWE television because CM Punk, when you look at the impact that CM Punk has had, and just WWE, for example, when you look at the impact that CM Punk has had in WWE, we might not be, it is very likely if CM Punk does not become the level of star that he becomes, it's very likely we don't get people like Seth Rollins. It's very likely we don't get people like Seth Rollins on TV and Kevin Owens, and Triple H signing all these guys from Ring of Honor. It's very likely we do not get that happening if Punk does not go on to be as big a star as he became. But when you're talking about WWE, this is AEW here. Punk coming to AEW is something I did not expect to happen. I didn't think we would see CM Punk back in a wrestling ring at all, but I am happy we are seeing him back. I'm happy we are seeing him back. He is going to be all elite, which is great. And Tony Khan, I joke about it on Twitter. I'm going to continue to say, Tony Khan is the leader of the Mafia, man. Tony Khan is the leader of the Mafia. When you look at the signings that Tony Khan has been able to pull off, there's only one explanation for it. This man is the leader of the Mafia, and he is forcing these people to come over to AEW. But in all seriousness, though, Punk coming over to AEW, potentially Brian coming over to AEW. Hey, it's a dub. It's a dub. It's over for WWE. AEW might WWE still might be the number one promotion in terms of money and in terms of business, but in terms of a product, AEW is gonna have its foot shoved so far up WWE's ass. It's gonna be absolutely incredible, bro. Tony Khan is sticking a foot of Vince, Bruce, and everybody up there in Stanford's ass, and I love it. Punk coming over to AEW is exactly what needed to happen, and I can't wait for it.
Wes?
Yeah, man. It's just amazing how much AEW, what the impact they have just left on pro wrestling in these past few years. This is a company that's only almost 3 years old. Keep that in mind. They're only almost 3 years old, and they're already accomplishing so much in this smaller. Can you imagine what this company will look like in the next 20 years or so? It's just incredible to see already this young company is already changing the tides in pro wrestling, man. We got the debut of CM Punk next week. And for those who are still doubting, it's happening. It is happening. I don't know what more AEW can do, what more anybody else can do to convince you that CM Punk is showing up on August 20th at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Mark my words. I've been saying it for so long now. It is happening. Stop doubting our words. It is happening. And Bryan Danielson potentially showing up at the Grand Slam Dynamite at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. I mean, that's potentially, but also happening as well, man. I mean, that you couldn't ask for two bigger game changers right there, man. The tides are changing big time, man. And AEW will take that number one spot from WB with those two signings alone, man. And then all this other talent that's probably going to be coming into. I mean, we got Ruby Soho potentially coming in too for the women's division. I mean, it's amazing to see, man. Adam Cole. We don't know what's going on with Adam Cole right now. We still have yet to find out if he's re-signed with WWE or not. Hopefully, he hasn't re-signed because Lord knows what Vince McMahon will do to a guy like Adam Cole on the main roster. But Adam Cole potentially jumping ship over to AEW, man. I mean, I'm telling you, there big moves are being made. Tony Khan is a smart businessman. He's got so many tricks up his sleeve. It's amazing to watch, man. I'm just so happy and so proud to be a fan of this product. I love following it every single week. I love talking about it. And, man, I'm all elite to the day I die, man. And I'm proud to say that. I don't care if anybody judges me for that. AEW is the place to be for pro wrestling.
Oh, man. I wanted to talk about that CM Punk stuff since next week is the historic show, but I really want to talk about this 1 hour Rampage show. But if you guys have not already, before we do that, go ahead and check out this past Wednesday's Dynamite review between myself and Wesley Williams. We got over 100 views for that one, so thank you for that. And then, of course, this past Monday's Monday Night Raw vlog from Orlando, Florida, which that one is over 200 views. Cam's favorite wrestling show, Monday Night Raw. So if you guys haven't already, be sure to go check out those two videos. Rampage, I think you could not have started off in a better way, man. Christian Cage, Kenny Omega, the Impact World Championship. Actually, before we get into that match, we had a 4-man commentary booth. My one minor negative, the 4-man commentary booth with Excalibur, Taz, Jericho, and Mark Henry. I'm just going to say it right here. I love the duo of Excalibur and Taz. Always have, always will. The times I can actually watch Dark, they are a great duo. They should stay on Rampage. I don't think Jericho is going to be there forever. And he's not going to be there forever. I think he was just on there for this week. But what did you guys think of the performance from Mark Henry on commentary tonight? Because I was kind of iffy on it. He was doing more backstage stuff, to be honest, but he was on commentary. So, Cam, what did you think about the debut of the 4-man commentary booth?
I'm glad this is just for one. I'm glad this is just only for this episode because the 4-man commentary booth I thought was a complete cluster. I thought this was a complete cluster. I understand why they did it, but still, 4 people at the announce booth is just way too much. It's way too much. It's overkill. 3 people at the announce booth is way too much. It's overkill. But 3, but I can tolerate 3 more. I can tolerate 3 announcers more than 4. But I'm in agreement with you, Joseph. I think this should just be Taz and Excalibur. They want to, I think this should just be Taz and Excalibur. I would not be against the idea at all of giving Mark Henry a run on commentary because, Mark Henry, I didn't think Mark Henry really sounded the best tonight, but I think the potential is there for him to be a pretty good announcer. The potential is there for him to be a pretty good announcer. And this was, I think this is only his first time being in the announce chair for AEW. So it was just his first night. I'm going to give him credit in this. It's just his first night. I'm going to kind of give him a pass on that. But I really do think they should stick to a 2-man commentary booth. And I thought Chris Jericho's I was not a fan of Jericho on commentary tonight. All the screaming and everything. I was not a fan of Jericho on commentary or this 4-man announce booth.
Wes?
Yeah, 4 men is overkill. Yeah, it looks like they won't do that as a permanent thing going forward, which is a good thing. Yeah, Mark Henry. Nothing really stood out with Mark Henry tonight for me. But I think maybe over time he could have the potential to be something at least decent on commentary. But yeah, definitely keep Taz and Excalibur there because they do mesh so well together. I mean, they have just that organic chemistry that you love to see in a commentary team. So just as long as you have that right there, I mean, you got a recipe for success, really. And so we'll see what goes down going further. But yeah, with Chris Jericho about to go back on tour potentially with Fozzy, it looks like yeah, Jericho won't be there for a long time and all that, and he won't be always making appearances. But I'm happy the 4-man thing won't be a permanent deal. But we'll see what happens going forward. But yeah, the commentary wasn't the greatest tonight, but maybe over time it will get better. We can only hope. So.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with Cam on this one. I didn't really like the screaming from Chris Jericho, especially during the opening match. All he was doing was screaming during the opening match. But let's just talk about this opening match. Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega for the Impact World Championship. First off, this was easily the best match of the entire night. I was literally on the edge of my seat watching the last few minutes of this match. If you were trying to take notes, good luck, because I mean, I try to keep it in my head, and I really I couldn't do it, man. Omega did not hit the one-winged angel on Christian. He got a couple V-triggers. Christian got a frog splash. Christian did a drop kick through the middle rope, which I really liked that spot. Omega was going for suicide dive. Christian moved. Christian was running back. He went in for the drop kick. Omega pushed Christian off the top rope onto the barricade outside. And then the ending starts when the Young Bucks come out. Young Bucks come out. Nick Jackson has a steel chair. He slides it into the ring. Omega sets it up for the one-winged angel. The referee is distracted by the Young Bucks coming out. Christian gets out of the one-winged angel, hits Kenny Omega with the kill switch when Omega goes face plant first, and God knows how long, Kenny Omega has lost his first singles match, I think since Moxley at full. I have no idea. But for the first time in a long time, Christian Cage, of all people, is the first guy to pin Kenny Omega. He is the new Impact World Champion. Jurassic Express come out and congratulate him. They gave him a big hug. Scott D'Amore's out there to congratulate him. He's holding up the Impact and the TNA World Championship. And I guess this makes sense because in some way, this kind of protected Kenny Omega because Christian cheated using the steel chair to win over Kenny Omega, and I guess that's a way to say that Omega was protected. But it seems like now Kenny Omega is starting to lose his belts as the time goes. He is no longer the Impact World Champion. I believe tomorrow night is AAA's biggest show of the year, Triple Mania, when Kenny Omega is defending that title against Andrade El Idolo in the main event. And I do think Andrade is going to beat Kenny Omega tomorrow night. And then after that, Kenny Omega has one championship left. That is the AEW World Championship. Christian Cage is the new Impact World Champion in what was, I thought, a fantastic opening match to Rampage. And now, since I've gave my thoughts on it for about 4 minutes now, and my thoughts on Christian, and plus, before we get into your guys' thoughts, another reason I think Christian won tonight is because I read today that Christian is going to be in Impact Wrestling for an extended period of time, and he's actually going to be on Impact show next week going forward. And if he was on the show next week and he lost for the Impact title, that really wouldn't have made much sense. So now the fact that he's the world champion, I guess, makes some sense. But Cam, I'm going to hand this one over to you first. What is your thoughts on the opening match? And are you shocked that Christian Cage is the new Impact World Champion?
I thought the opening. I thought this opening match was. I thought this opening match was great. I've defended the signing of Christian Cage to AEW, and this was one of the matches I wanted to see. This is one of the matches I wanted to see when he got there was Omega and Cage for the AEW title. For the AEW title. I understand why Christian Cage won, beat Kenny Omega tonight, plays into the, it's kind of playing to the story of Omega. He's starting to lose his belts. He realizes the AEW title is the only belt he has, and he's going to do, and he's going to try to do everything in his power he can to hold on to it. And plus also another reason why I think Christian won is so that way, they can, so that way one way they can hype up this match is by having Christian go, I already beat, by having Christian go, I beat Omega once, so I took one of his titles, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to take his baby. I'm going to do it again, I'm going to take his baby. So I understand why they're doing it, but I was not a fan of Kenny Omega losing this match. First off, I wasn't a fan of when the match was announced at all because to me, this is something you would see on like Raw or SmackDown, where they take the two guys wrestling for the world title and they give it away on free TV for another title. They give it away on free TV for another title. I did not like that. Also, I did not think Omega should. I didn't think Omega should have lost on AEW television. He's driving the AAA title tomorrow. That's fine. That's not going to be on AEW television. But on AEW television, I don't think Omega should have lost at all. I don't think he should have lost at all until he lost to Hangman. Until he lost to Hangman. Until he lost to Hangman for the AEW title. But I'm happy for Christian and Christian having that TNA World title. Christian looks good with it, man. Christian always looks good with the World title. He always looks good with the World title. Christian gets to go back to Impact, the place that gave him a chance to be a legitimate main event guy. He's going to be in the Impact Zone for the first time since 2012. So I'm happy for Christian, and I understand why they did it. I just was not a fan of it.
Wes?
Yeah, I definitely understand the conflicting feelings on it. I was a bit conflicted too when the match ended because I agree with Cam. I think you wanted to ideally wait for Omega to have that first pinfall loss on AEW television be to Hangman when he comes back and he eventually dethrones Kenny for the AEW title. So I definitely get the conflicting feelings there, but I can't say I'm not happy for Christian. The guy has worked his ass off for 7 years to get back to this spot, and he looks so good. He really does. The guy, you could feel the intensity through your television screen watching this match, watching Christian in the ring against Kenny. He wanted this so badly, and you could just see that, man. You could see how the passion and the heart that he had in that ring tonight, and Christian has just always been such a great workhorse in pro wrestling, man. It's just such a shame WWE never looked at him as a serious top star, when he had all the makings to be a top guy. And thankfully, back in the day, TNA gave him that chance. And then here we are when AEW treats him, just as much respect as TNA does, man. Now here he is, the Impact World Champion, and next up he's got Brian Myers at Emergence, the Impact's next show for the Impact title. So, I'm ultimately happy for Christian Cage, and this was a great match. Both guys did a wonderful job. The crowd was red hot for it. This is a great way to open up, and I think with the result tonight, it really goes to show you that anything can happen on AEW Rampage. So I think that was a nice way to kind of tell people, hey, you never know what could happen on this show, man. We had a big title change tonight. Kenny Omega just lost the Impact title, so that's one less belt for the belt collector, and now he goes to AAA tomorrow against Andrade to defend the AAA title, where I do believe as well he is going to drop that title to Andrade, and now Kenny will just be left with the AEW title. But and I guess it looks like Christian Cage and Kenny Omega is still the match for All Out right now. Joseph, our buddy Anthony, mentioned how he thinks there's still going to be some sort of shenanigans pulled before then, that Christian's probably going to be taken out of that match, and I can kind of see that happen. You know, I can probably see that be or they end up making just a different stipulation for that match. We'll have to see what happens once we get to September 5th. But yeah, great opening match tonight. I totally get the conflicting feelings on the matter, but I'm very happy for Christian Cage at the end of the day.
Next up might have been the most emotional thing of the entire night. We saw Fuego del Sol against Miro for the TNT Championship, and may I say this? I think that was probably the most. Is that your side, Cam?
It might be. It might be. I got my It might be. I don't have Wi-Fi on any of my devices except for this one, so it might be. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. What I was going to say was this might have been the most entertaining 2-minute match I think I've seen in God knows how long, man. I was so entertained by this so-called squash match. So Miro was making his entrance, and Fuego immediately hits him with a tornado DDT. Miro is stumbling around the ring. The bell rings. Fuego hits another tornado DDT. Miro falls out of the ring. He gets back in the ring at 9. Fuego hits another tornado DDT. Miro kicks out at 2. Fuego goes to hit another tornado DDT. His 4th one. Miro catches him, and he gives him a Roman Reigns type Samoa drop. Super kick. Game over. Fuego immediately taps out, and Miro is still the TNT Championship. Then the most dick move he could have possibly done. He takes the contract and he rips it up in front of the Pittsburgh crowd. And all I thought was, Miro's a dick. Miro is such a prick. And I take everything back that, I mean, it all benefited at the end, but that moment, I take everything back that I've ever said about Miro on the Wednesday night reviews, saying, he's going to hold the title until next year. No one should beat him. Well, guess what, pal? He's going to lose in 3 weeks just because of that. Watch. So, but, no, and all jokes aside, you get back from commercial, Fuego's standing in the ring by himself. Sammy Guevara's theme music hits. He comes out with Tony Khan. Tony Khan made a TV appearance tonight on Rampage. He hugs Sammy. He gives him a clipboard, and he gives him a microphone. And Sammy's like, Tony thought I was the best person to come out and do this since I'm your best friend. And he says, sometimes in defeat, there is victory at the end. And tonight there is victory for you, Franco. I am here to reward you your AEW contract, and Fuego del Sol is all elite. Leads to a massive pop. Fuego del Sol is nearly crying in the ring, and it nearly left me in tears, man. That, I'm telling you, that was a great moment right there. From a guy who is 1 in 40, I think he is 1 in 50, whatever. I think he's 1 in 40. He's all elite. He's probably one of the top guys on Dark, and now he's all elite, man. I couldn't feel any happier for him, man. That was probably one of the most feel-good moments in AEW of the entire year, to be perfectly honest with you. Cameron Johnson, what'd you think, pal?
I'm happy Fuego didn't die. I'm happy he didn't die. when I saw that they booked this match for Wednesday, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, damn, man. Somebody in this company really does not like Fuego del Sol. He's on TV each week. He's on TV every week, and he gets his ass kicked. Like, somebody really does not like this man. So I'm happy he didn't die. I'm happy he didn't die. I'm happy he didn't die. I had my shirt. I had my shirt and my pants all picked. I had my shirt and my pants all picked out. But I had my shirt and my pants all picked out to go to Fuego del Sol's funeral. I thought the man was going to die tonight, but he surprised me. He did not. That opening first 2 minutes, the opening match was a lot of fun. Where he was just hitting DDT after DDT after DDT after DDT after DDT. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it reminded me of the AJ Styles James Ellsworth feud from 2016 when Ellsworth made that one appearance on Raw against Braun Strowman, and Ellsworth just kind of took off. He kind of took off, and he took off, and he took off, and he became the lovable. He took off, and he just became a lovable guy, and this led to him wrestling a couple matches on SmackDown against AJ Styles, and they would always show James Ellsworth in the ring getting his ass kicked against AJ, but Ellsworth would hit like one move or whatever, make you think it was it, but it wasn't. Fuego has grown to become a lovable jobber. He's a lovable job guy, and I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy that he's getting an opportunity to be all elite. This match was a lot of fun, And if God's favorite champion say you don't get a contract, you don't get a contract. But he might be God's favorite champion, but he's not our Lord and Savior, Tony Khan. So Tony Khan make that decision at the end of the day. But I'm super happy for Fuego del Sol. This is a real feel good. This is a real feel good moment, and I'm super happy for the guy.
Wesley, what'd you think about Miro and Fuego del Sol?
Yeah, this was a perfectly booked match. I love that they gave Fuego that little sense of hope with the 3 tornado DDTs. They really wanted to try and make you think just a little bit that maybe, just maybe, he could pull off the shock victory. But of course, Miro prevailed in the end with the game over. And the cherry on top of the cake, man, was the fact that Tony Khan and Sammy came out, and Sammy got to walk to the ring and hand Fuego his actual contract to become all elite with All Elite Wrestling, man. And I'm very happy for Fuego del Sol, man. It's so amazing how AEW takes a guy who is a resident jobber for their company. He's lost probably about 40 times now in AEW the whole time he's been around. And they've made this guy, I mean, he's just organically gotten over as one of the biggest baby faces, probably in all of pro wrestling, man. I mean, everybody loves Fuego del Sol. I mean, you got everybody on the Fuego del Sol bandwagon. It's awesome to see. I mean, you don't see this happen so much. Yeah, there you go. You don't see it happen so much with jobbers. I mean, you look at probably like WWE, for example, like they're just going to job guys out for the sake of jobbing them out. And even if they get organically over, nope, that can't happen. We gotta stop that momentum that you're on. See, Fuego, with AEW, they're riding the momentum with Fuego del Sol, and I love to see that, man. And I'm very happy he's with AEW now, man. And sooner rather than later, we might see him pick up some victories, man. Who knows? We might be building up that win-loss record a little bit. We'll see what happens. But honestly, the coolest moment on the show tonight, man. It makes me love AEW even more. Just goes to show you that they're just such a classy company.
Mm-hmm. Wednesday night, in Houston, Texas, it was announced. Wednesday night, the 5th and final labor is going to take place. So Wednesday night, we're getting Chris Jericho versus MJF. Wesley, is Jericho going to pass the 5th labor?
I don't know, man. It's kind of a tough call because I think MJF's had the upper hand on Jericho a lot. But I don't know. I personally, I think I want to see MJF win this. Just this being a way to kind of send Jericho off on his tour, and by having MJF win this 5th labor, Jericho's made it this far. But I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible though that Jericho does win this. But personally, I would prefer MJF wins just because I'm just for the younger talent getting over, and I feel like Jericho, I know how badly he wants to beat MJF. He wants to prevail over MJF, but I still want to say that MJF still gets the upper hand at the end of all this.
Cameron?
MJF screws over Chris Jericho. Jericho does not pass. Labor number 5.
Oh man, you know what? I'm actually shocked this match is not happening on Rampage, considering that we're gonna get CM Punk next Friday night. I feel like when you have the debut of Punk, like tonight, you want to stack this show up as much as possible, and I think having Jericho and MJF on that show would have been a great idea. But we'll have to see what's gonna happen next Friday on Rampage. What matches are gonna take place? So. Let's get into the main event here. The Women's Championship, Red Velvet against the hometown girl, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I thought it was a good main event, a pretty good main event. Britt Baker retained, obviously. Red Velvet was the quote-unquote heel in this match. Britt Baker was the obvious babyface as she was getting cheered loudly in Pittsburgh. Rebel got kicked out. Britt Baker went in for the lockjaw. Red Velvet took her broken wrist and started elbowing it. Britt Baker then reversed it to the side where Red Velvet can't attack her wrist. Left hand in the mouth for the lockjaw, and Red Velvet immediately tapped out. Britt Baker retained. After the match, she does the twisted neck breaker to Red Velvet. She goes for a curb stomp onto the championship, and Chris Statlander comes into the ring. And then all of a sudden, Jamie Hayter. At first, I thought this was Peyton Royce. No cap. I thought that was Peyton Royce that just ran into the ring. But it was Jamie Hayter, and the poor woman got no reaction. So, she is all elite. It's official. But I kind of thought the ending was a little flat. But the match was very good. And Red Velvet, she is going to be an AEW Women's Champion. I have no doubt about that. Just kind of like Fuego del Sol. She went from being an enhancement talent in the pandemic era to a serious part in the AEW Women's Division. And you just love to see that, man. So I thought it was a good main event. Britt Baker retains. And it seems like we're getting Chris Statlander next in line for Britt Baker. Cameron Johnson, what do you think about the first ever main event on Rampage? Red Velvet and Britt Baker.
I thought the main event. I thought the main event was. I thought this main event was good. First off, Britt Baker might be. She's obviously the most over woman in the company. Britt Baker might be top 3 in terms of the most over people on the roster. Behind Hank, you got Hangman. You got Darby, and then would Britt Baker be top? Britt Baker be top 3? The woman comes out, gets DMD each week. This woman is a babyface. Tony Khan needs to just go ahead and turn this woman babyface. Just go ahead and turn this woman babyface. They're gonna have no choice. They're gonna have no choice but to turn this woman babyface. Have her do the exact same act she does now, but just have her do it towards heels. Because this woman is absolutely beloved. This woman is absolutely beloved. In terms of the finish, it was sad that Jamie Hayter didn't get any reaction, but part of me just thinks that she didn't get a reaction because nobody probably knew who she was. She's not necessarily a name a lot of people are gonna know. And the last time we saw her, and we haven't seen her. And we haven't seen her on Dynamite in 2 years because I think she either got injured or she got stuck in the UK with the pandemic or whatever. So in terms of her getting no reaction, I think it may just because nobody. I think that may just be because nobody knew who she was. But it shocked me. I'm not gonna lie, because when she came up, because when they were doing the post match thing, angle, and Baker was beating down Red Velvet and Chris Statlander made the save, I was thinking to myself, okay, so we're getting Britt Baker and Chris Statlander at All Out, and then because I was on my phone at the time, and then I look up and I see Jamie Hayter beating the piss out of Chris Statlander, and I forgot Rebel got thrown out the match. So when I was looking up, I thought she was beating the crap out of everybody in the ring. I was like, oh, I was wrong. So we're gonna get a 4-way or something. But then when I saw her and Baker aligned, I was like, oh, okay, so she's a heavy. I was like, oh, okay, so this is the start of a little faction between Baker and Hayter. Jamie Hayter is very good. From what I've seen of Jamie Hayter, she's very, very good. She's only like 25, 26 years old too, so she's extremely young. Very good, very good. Great signing by AEW for their women's division. And as a main event, I thought it was fine. Red Velvet is the girl. I think Red Velvet is gonna be a big baby face for AEW down the line. Not yet, obviously, but down the line, I think there's money in Red Velvet.
Before we get to Wesley, I just want to bring something up real quick. I just saw this on Twitter. The last time we saw Jamie Hayter in an AEW capacity was on the 4th episode of Dynamite in Pittsburgh when she had a match against Britt Baker. And then she makes her return on the debut episode of Rampage in the same building, and she's assisting Britt Baker. So I feel like that is long-term storytelling with AEW there, and I feel like that's pretty cool. So I just wanted to bring that up real quick. Wes, what did you think about this main event, dude? And then we are going to get out of here.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good main event. I think no matter who you put up against Britt Baker tonight, they were going to get booed out of the building, man. I mean, Britt Baker may be a heel, but she's a babyface in the eyes of Pittsburgh, man. I mean, even Chris Statlander was getting booed tonight when she tried to help Red Velvet. I mean, nobody likes anybody who's against Britt Baker in Pittsburgh, man. Everybody loves Britt Baker in Pittsburgh, man. You can't really blame them. But yeah, really good main event. Red Velvet, she's definitely going to be a big star for AEW's women's division as time goes on. It's crazy how she hasn't been in the business for very long at all, and she's already really good. It always feels like a crime that she's as good as she is already, not like with her not being like that well experienced in the business. It's just really cool to see that. But obviously we knew what the result was going to be with this match. Britt retains, and it looks like it all out. We're getting Britt Baker and Chris Statlander, and of course we got the debut of Jamie Hayter. It's been a long time since we last seen her, and I like that was brought up though, Joseph. Like you mentioned, the last time we saw her was on the 4th episode, only the 4th episode of Dynamite, going up against Britt Baker, and here she is in Pittsburgh once again helping Britt Baker. So I love the fact that AEW went all the way back in time to 2 years ago and to fast forward it to this moment tonight, man. I mean, AEW they're paying attention, man. They know what's up, and so that's really cool. But Jamie Hayter is a really good women's wrestler, and it's really cool that she's back with AEW and that she is all elite. I think she'll be a really good helping hand for the women's division, and I think she could be a force. But I'm curious to see how this partnership goes with Britt Baker. It could be something that's really cool. She could be that little extra help for Britt Baker, since Britt Baker is still a heel. And Rebel, she obviously can't really do much of anything considering that she's on a crutch and she's not 100% healthy. So I think having Jamie Hayter there could be like a nice little insurance policy for Britt Baker. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks leading into All Out and so on and so forth. But yeah, man, great main event and just a great way to just to kick us off, man, on Friday nights. Man, Rampage really knocked it out of the park tonight, man. You really could not have asked for a better 1-hour show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was a blast of a review, but we are about to get out of here. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the review. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to Big Fight Feel. I can promise you guys right now, next week is going to be crazy. Next week is SummerSlam week. I'm trying to exchange my schedule with all of these videos I got coming out. I'm going to try to get some guests on the show since it's a big week. We got Punk on Friday, SummerSlam on Saturday, TakeOver Sunday night. Cameron Johnson's going to be back on here for that. It's just going to be a crazy week, man, and I'm very excited. You guys are going to want to be subscribed for all of the content next week, man. So be sure to subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts on the debut of AEW Rampage. Hit the like button if you like what myself, Cameron Johnson, and Wesley Williams. Hit the like button if you like what the Rampage crew had to say about tonight's show. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Conlon_Joseph. Cameron, where can they follow you on your socials, man?
Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Cam711 on one. Also, make sure you subscribe. Also, make sure you subscribe to the CNE podcast. Available on all platforms. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the upcoming. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the upcoming week. So we have SummerSlam coming up. We are doing SummerSlam Would You Rather, a play off the WrestleMania Would You Rather that Joseph was on. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, Joseph was on. That was a lot of fun. So we're gonna do one for SummerSlam. Make sure you check. So we're gonna do one for SummerSlam. So make sure you subscribe so you can check that out. Make sure you check out the new series where myself, Escobar Morales, Gamers Goons, and Stevie get on here every Tuesday and Thursday and talk about the latest news and rumors going on in the world of professional wrestling. So if that's something that interests you, subscribe to the CNE podcast, available on all platforms, wherever the hell you listen to podcasts at. Well, I'm pretty sure we're on there. So make sure you sub.
Wes,
I'm sorry, and also sub to the Big Fight Field channel. Sorry, Joe.
Thanks for the cheap plug there. I appreciate it. Wes, where can I follow you, dude?
You already know, at big_West18. That is BIG_WES18. Follow me on Twitter. I cover AEW Dynamite on Wednesday nights right here on Big Fight Field and on Twitter. And of course, AEW Rampage starting tonight, man. This was the first night, and we got many nights going forward. AEW Rampage covered right here on Big Fight Field and on Twitter. So make sure you guys go follow me. I believe I'm now 12 away from 700 followers. Get that follow count up for me on Twitter, y'all. I mean, I really would appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It means the world. Thank you so much for watching our podcast, the very first of many AEW Rampage reviews with myself, Joseph Conlon, Cameron Johnson, the dynamic trio right here on Big Fight Field.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will see me sometime tomorrow to review SmackDown. You will see me and Wesley on here Wednesday night to review Dynamite. And you will see the three of us talking about AEW Rampage, the first dance, next Friday. You guys have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy.